Well, guess what? There's some more scams that we have to worry about, and here to help us out from Superior Credit Union is Jessica Holliday, Director of Fraud, and Austin Miller, Security Analyst. So welcome.
Well, thank you.
All right, so scams, they're all around us.
Right.
Okay, so what's the newest one here?
So right now we're seeing phishing and smishing scams.
Okay.
So individuals will either receive a text message asking if a transaction is valid or not, and then usually it's followed by a phone call. That phone call then is somebody posing as the institution asking for information that nobody should be asking you for. And then unfortunately some of the people are falling victims and giving the information, and then all their information is then compromised.
Okay, so if somebody gets a text, do they have to click on something and then they get a call, or?
So usually when you get a text message, it'll ask you to respond yes if the transaction is yours, 1, or 2, no. So depending on what they hit, but normally a phone call does not occur after those text messages.
Okay, so this is something that we got to really be careful of.
Absolutely.
Austin, are you finding a lot of scamming on this on your end?
Yes, the multi-factor security codes, we're seeing a lot of people try and get those codes from you. Please do not share those codes with anybody. Those are your own personal codes. You need to make sure that you're the one that's submitting them to the correct place and nowhere else.
Yeah, they're getting more and more clever, I would say, like trying to get personal details from, anybody really,
right.
You get the text message, you get the emails, you get now phone calls, I think we've always been used to the phone calls, and it's easy to just hang up, but
absolutely.
How do you know if you're being, what do you call it? Phishing or?
Phishing or smishing.
Smishing?
Yep, phishing and smishing. So,
how do you know, when that's happening?
I mean, if your institution is calling you and asking you for personal information, there's no reason that they should be asking you for information. We already know your information. Like we know everything that we need to know physically in front of us. I don't need you to confirm, your last 4 digits of your card number or your PIN number. We would never ask you for that information. So if you start getting phone calls where they're asking you for information, that's fraud. We're not going to ask you for that.
Would there be a case where they might ask you for, let's say, the last 4 of your social or something? Never even like that?
You do not provide your information. You want to treat everything that is your personal information to yourself. You do not want to share that information with no one.
Okay, so if somebody's getting, a text, an email, a call, I guess let's start with text and emails, because what would you suggest doing? Especially Austin, your end, you're the technical part of this thing. What would you do? So
with email specifically, what I would do is set up multi-factor authentication to your email. So when you log in, it will send you a code. That way, if somebody does hack into your credentials, gain access to your email, they won't have access to that special security code that you're given. With texting, if you randomly get a code that you did not try and get, then leave it alone, report it as junk, spam, whatever it is, and just leave it alone. I wouldn't even touch it. Yeah, I can tell you it's happened to me before, where I've gotten texts or, or an email saying, one was saying they were from my bank, and I knew it was fake because from listening to both of you guys, you guys come on, help us out, get the information that we need, and I knew right away, so junk. I was delete and report as junk. So, yeah, so is there another way that maybe you could, make yourself safe?
Just make sure you're not clicking on anything that you're not used to. Make sure that it makes sense of the information that you're providing. You got anything you want to throw on there?
And if there is a link in an email, you can hover over the link. Don't click on it right away, but just hover. There should be a little pop-up box in the bottom of your screen. It'll tell you exactly where that is going. And if that's not corresponding to the link, then do not click on it. All right. Well, Jessica and Austin, thanks so much for coming in, keeping all of our viewers safe, and you kept me safe, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, well, don't go away, because Noon Edition continues in just a moment.